I'm David Gant. I'm chairman of the Buncombe County Board of Commissioners, and it's my pleasure to welcome you on this rather un-mountain-like temperature day. But thank you for being here. Today we will open a place where we will attempt to provide the comfort, protection, education, and handle the aftermath of domestic violence. Every one of us is touched by domestic violence. And the feeling we have, whether you're a victim or a survivor, or it just touches your family, remains with you for years. I'm going to briefly tell you about two women. The first one had the good fortune to be a college-age student when World War II was going on. And she became one of the first women to go to the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill. She's kind of a silly girl from Grover, North Carolina. She went to Chapel Hill and loved it. It was real different from the Queens College where she had to wear beanies and come in at 8 o'clock every night. She got a date with a football player. And the football player took her to a nice place to eat. And as they were walking back to her dorm, they got romantic. But she said no. And the football player said, "I don't care." And he raped her. She went back to the dorm with torn clothes, sobbing, woke up her roommate, and the help she had dealing with this situation was a sympathetic roommate who said, "Well, maybe it'll pass. Maybe you didn't get pregnant. Maybe you didn't get venereal disease." And said, "I think it'll work out." Fast forward 35 years. A young law student was staying in a one-bedroom trailer. He got a knock on the door. And some woman was at the door. She looked like a monster. Her hair was torn out of her head. She was bleeding. She couldn't open an eye. It was swollen shut. She had bruises all over her body. And she said, "Brother, I don't have anywhere to go. I don't have anybody to talk to but you. I can't go home because it would kill our mother." She was fortunate that she had a place to go here. The beginnings of Helpmate gave her some comfort and said, "It's going to be all right. It wasn't your fault. You can go on and lead a good life." Those women were my mother and my sister. And I've grown up with it. And I'll never forget the hurt in their eyes when they told me what had happened to them. This is not a new thing, but they shouldn't have had to endure what they went through alone. Today in Buncombe County, we're going to flip that to the other extreme. And we're going to be the best family justice center in the United States. We are going to avoid victims of domestic violence from ever being victimized a second time. We're going to provide the support, the counseling, the legal advice, the medical care, the access to law enforcement. We're going to reduce the fear. We're going to increase the safety. And we're going to meet all the immediate needs of men and women who have been physically or mentally abused. And most important of all, because of Julie and her staff, we're going to provide the love and caring that is the most needed at this very difficult time. Right now, when domestic violence occurs, men and women are asked to fill out as many as 61 forms. They're asked to talk to over 20 people to give their story over and over again. And they can receive up to 30 referrals to different agencies. In Buncombe County, we're going to put everybody under this roof. And we're going to make sure that we do it right. We're going to reduce those 3,437 incidents that happen every year here. And we're going to treat these women and men with dignity, respect, and courtesy that they deserve while saving $6.7 million in taxpayer money to deal with the aftermath. We will continue to develop the best practices for dealing with these incidents. We will be efficient. We will increase prosecution thanks to a very favorable district attorney and wonderful law enforcement. We are going to reduce recantation because of fear and because of a feeling that they can't do anything else but get out and stop. We're going to make sure that the offenders are properly prosecuted, and we will reduce the domestic violence in Buncombe County markedly before this is all rolled out. Because when you have domestic violence, it's been proven that the children that are exposed to this grow up with depression, PTSD, chronic physical ailments, and a belief that domestic violence is the way it's supposed to be, and it often repeats itself. We need to show them that that's not an acceptable way to deal with stress, disagreement, and argument. And we're going to do that here. We're going to work toward a violence-free community. And I don't know if we're going to get there, but we're sure as hell going to try, folks. And we're going to make sure the people, young people, get the message, and the people that didn't get the message, we're going to deal with them another way and make sure they get it another way. But no other man or woman is going to have to wait out what happened to them or be isolated when their world's turned upside down. The difference between a victim and a survivor is going to be when you walk through this door, you're going to leave victim world and become a survivor and have a good life and put this behind you because of this staff you're going to hear from. I burned you up enough. But folks, we're honored you're here. This is a huge day for us. And some of you know firsthand, all of you have been touched by domestic violence. But we're going to do something about it today in a big way. And we're going to move to the head of the class, to the very top of our nation in dealing with this very serious problem.
Good afternoon. What an incredible group of people are before me today. This is, wow, powerful. Thank you, Chairman Gant. And thank you for sharing your personal stories. It means so much to hear from leaders in our community that domestic violence and sexual assault impact us all. Today, we come together to celebrate the beacon of hope that the Family Justice Center represents. He's taller than me. We celebrate the difference it will make for those impacted by sexual and domestic violence, and we celebrate the vision, the dedication, and the strength of those who have made it so. Today, we celebrate our community's commitment to a safer future. When we were faced with the difficult reality that domestic and sexual violence was causing trauma in our community and was damaging our families, our workplaces, and our neighborhoods, we knew that something had to be done. Shame, anger, and fear could not be the norm for our community or part of the future for our children. Fortunately, we live in a community of innovative and practical people who rolled up their sleeves and got to work, based on the beliefs that children should not have to bear the scars of violence in the home, that all people deserve respect and justice, and that those who commit acts of sexual and domestic violence should be held accountable. These partner agencies came together to identify a path forward. The Family Justice Center is a shining example of our ability to work together to find common sense solutions to complicated challenges. Navigating a fragmented system, feeling shameful, feeling scared, some victims were not getting the help that they needed and deserved. Here at the Family Justice Center, People impacted by domestic and sexual violence can access counseling, medical examinations, legal assistance, support from the high-quality service providers who have been serving our community for many years, now saving and changing lives together. We are many partners in one location, working together for a safer future for our community. Today's celebration of hope is the result of many dedicated people and organizations who came together to invest in a brighter future. I want to join Chairman Gant in thanking the Buncombe County Commissioners for their support and their investment. Thank you for your visionary leadership. Our federal and state governments have also been partners in this project, and we want to thank the North Carolina Governor's Crime Commission and the U.S. Department of Justice, their Office of Violence Against Women, for their investment in this work. Our Family Justice Center is a great example of a public-private partnership, and we are grateful for the support of our community sponsors. I want to specifically thank American South General Contractors, H&M Contractors, the Genesis Alliance, James R. Vinoy & Sons Construction, Keith Hargrove Architect, Paget and Freeman Architects, and the Women for Women Giving Circle. Our partner organizations have worked together for a year and a half to dream, plan, and build a coordinated service system for survivors of domestic and sexual violence. This partnership shows what can be done when we bring together expertise from across disciplines to improve lives. Over the last year, I have had the privilege to work with a group of survivors of violence who have provided input and feedback into the planning and creation of our Family Justice Center. I am deeply grateful to those who have identified as survivors and been willing to bravely share their experience of seeking help so that together we can build a safe and welcoming place for those impacted by domestic and sexual violence. One of these survivors said to me, "This kind of attention to the hearts and healing of survivors gives me hope for future generations of survivors. You are changing survivor stories to ones of support rather than shame." Yeah. I want to deeply thank all of the survivors who have lent their hearts and voices to this project. And I want to recognize Elisa Jacobs-Thompson, who serves as the FJC Survivors Group representative on our leadership team. There you are. Each and every one of you gathered here today is a part of the Family Justice Center. This work happens because of your support, your advocacy, and your investment. When together we support the well-being of survivors of violence, we help make sure that everyone can fully contribute to our communities. While we celebrate, we also recognize that our work is not done. We need your continued partnership to build a safer community. Join us in making the commitment today to change our community's story to one of support rather than shame. Stand up, speak out, talk about what consent means and what healthy relationships look like. Support survivors and the organizations that serve them in their time of need. Be a part of building a resilient community free from domestic and sexual violence. Be the beacon of hope. With the opening of the Family Justice Center, our message to victims is clear. We will walk with you on your path to strength, safety, and hope. We will be with you on your journey from victim to survivor, and that journey starts here.